So I received this message in my Q&A time, which you guys don't know. On my community post, I do post every now and then a Q&A time where I am open to any topics or discussions that you guys want me to discuss in a long form video, which is what I'm doing today. And I love talking about restaurants, especially dealing with people in restaurants, because I've been doing it for over 15 years. And I thought this was actually very interesting. And Frank, I am so sorry that I did not see your message before. Granted, I do read all my messages. Now, the idea of me responding to all of them is a different story, but I love the topic of this because you can't fault someone on information that they do not know, but once they are given information, then you can now judge them according to their actions. And I'm 100% down to talk about this, so let's get into it. But with that being said, let's get into that sponsored content first. So do you guys know that I have a Patreon and a podcast? For $5 a month, you can see the behind the scenes of what it takes for me to create content here as I travel the US and interact with people and live my life as a solo female creator. From traveling to Florida, being in Connecticut, going to South Carolina, and where I plan to go next, you can see it all here. Through the ups and downs of creating content and just meeting people along the way, it can all be found here. And on those days where you just don't want to sit down and watch a video, you can also view my podcast, which is available on different streaming services. So definitely check that out as well. I am so excited to bring to you guys and the loyal fans that love my content what it's like for me as I'm trying to find my own definition of success and roam the earth and see what the world has to offer for me as a solo content creator. I love you all. Links for everything will be found in the description bar below. And with that being said, let's get back into this video.
So a lot of people are talking about black folks at restaurants lately, not tipping, being demanding and all that.
Know how to handle black tables when black tables come in my establishment.
Mind you, these people that I was defending, like, nah, y'all shouldn't be doing them like that. Nah, don't do my people like that. Nah, I'm gonna take care of them. I got it. Man, mind you, they dressed up. I should have known better.
So there's a video that I did on my channel a while back, short about the Waffle House thing. Now, I do want to admit it was a little clickbaity. Yes, I am aware that not all Waffle Houses are like that, but I do stand by what I said about this is why most people don't like taking care of black people in restaurants, because this is the problem. And before I even get into that, I'm going to talk about my past, how I came to having such a strong opinion about this when it comes to black people in restaurants. So I didn't realize how terrible my family actually tipped until I got older and I started to replay in my mind all the times we used to go out to eat as a family when I was a child. And when my mom would throw a tip on the table, which at the time seemed like a good thing, and then my aunt would come around and take the tip, put it in her pocket. I always knew that was a bad thing, but even the tip that my mom put on the table with the family that we would have, that would be like maybe 8 to 10 people, the chump change that they would leave on the table was just insane. And then the fact that my aunt thought it was funny and cute to take the tip that was barely anything and then to pocket it herself, it just made me look at her and my family a little differently. And then as I got older, understanding what it really means to go out to a restaurant and tip, it makes you look at the situation differently. It's not just you leaving change, it's you respecting the server enough to where if the service is good and the food comes out hot, other food that's supposed to be cold comes out cold, and your drinks are at your table in a timely fashion, and you're able to not have to ask for refills like your server's just on it, a really good tip is required. And I don't care what anybody says, because you can go on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and people will talk about tipping culture and how it's out of control. And let's be honest, I think it is. I think if you're in an establishment where you're not sitting down and someone's completely taking care of you, I don't think that you're obligated to tip at all. Coffee shops, going to like stores like Walmart, like when I started noticing that they had things like that in places where I'm doing most of the work, there's no way I'm giving you guys a tip. Like I went to a ramen spot recently in South Carolina, really good ramen spot, to be honest. I'm not even gonna knock you on that. It was really good food. But I'm standing up, I'm putting my order into a little kiosk, having to grab my stuff, get my drinks. For the most part, they're bringing me my food, but I'm placing my own order, I'm grabbing my own drinks, and then they still wanted me to tip. I'm like, what am I tipping? Am I tipping the machine for not being faulty? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, there was a person that would stand there and help people that didn't know how the place went and navigated them to where they had to go. I'm not placing my order with you. You're not coming to me to refill my drink. But this is very interesting because in being in the restaurant industry for as long as I have been, which I got into the industry because of me being in the arts, always been into art. When I was a child, I was into art when it came to acting, filmmaking, being in front and behind the camera. And I learned a lot of it when I was a child. You guys don't know, I used to be a filmmaker. This channel was created off of me talking about films. I still nowadays, every now and then, talk about films, but I love storytelling. As I was getting into storytelling, I was suggested to get into the restaurant industry because that is where most artists are making the most money and having the most flexibility. It was just easier for me to be able to get the time off that I needed to go to, let's say, auditions or to do film projects, which the majority of the films that I've made were created off of the money that I made off of my serving jobs. And I'm very happy. I'm very proud of it. I would never steer someone away from working in the restaurant industry, especially if you see yourself doing something in the more artistic realm, because it also teaches you a lot of things. We're going to get back to this comment because it's very important, but I think that understanding where I came from is going to make things make a lot more sense to you guys when I give my opinion. I think it's way more important because it's not just a Connecticut thing. It's not just a South Carolina thing. It's not just a Florida thing. Everybody is feeling this because there are Black people out here that are making other Black people that know how to tip well look bad. When people see them walking into restaurants, they're not accepting them with open arms. Let's be honest about it.
Okay, Black people at restaurants. As a server who has served for the last however long years, I don't want to say Black people don't tip, but I will say Black people are unforgiving. From the moment, like, it starts in the parking lot, like where they're able to find parking. When they come into the hostess, did the hostess greet them in the way that they wanted to be greeted? Did they have to wait? Okay, like all those things before you even touch the table determines how it's gonna go down with Black people.
We all know Black and white servers, Spanish servers, Asian servers. We look at these people and we're like, oh, I will pay you to take this table because I do not want this table. It's gotten to that point. But anyway, I got into the restaurant industry and I was doing a lot of things. Like, I used to be a figure model, which if you guys don't know, look it up. I used to do figure modeling. This is when I was into my fitness game. Restaurant industry work was just more consistent. And at the time that I was working, my first restaurant job was at Chili's. This is before Chili's started having all the discounts and all the promotions. I started restaurant work in 2009. October 14th was my first day of working as a server. I didn't know anything. I was fresh. I was a virgin to the world. I didn't know anything about the restaurant industry, but I wanted to learn more because I was told that this is a great way to make money. So I'm like, okay, clearly I have to learn things in order for me to make this money because it didn't come easy. I was also very much a quiet person. I'm still to this day somewhat of a quiet person. I like being by myself. I don't really enjoy being in big crowds. Being in the restaurant industry, you have to learn how to adapt and be able to converse with lots of different types of people. And so it was a great way for me to talk to people that I don't know, to get them to get things and buy things that they probably would not have considered. And also, it taught me a lot of patience. With that being said, going into the restaurant industry, I also saw a lot of things. So I remember this one situation that took place where this white girl that was a server, she was taking care of a bunch of Black teens. And this is where my mind started to really like distinguish the difference between people. There were a group of Black teens. I want to say maybe like 15 to like 25 of them. And it started off with a small group. It started off with like 10 of them. Then more and more people started to come. And there was this area in the restaurant where you could set up a party in there and it would make sense for people over 20, 25 to sit there and it wouldn't like conflict with anybody else in their section. So she's like racking up a check for these people. These kids are ordering a lot of stuff. And in the back of my mind, I'm not thinking, at the time that I saw this taking place, I didn't think that people would be doing what they ended up doing. Little by little, all the kids started to get up and leave. Like, one would get up and go to the bathroom, never come back. They made a mess in the section. The girl didn't realize what was happening until people started to argue with her because she's trying to get them to pay the bill because little by little people are leaving. And people are like, oh, I'm paying my thing, but I'm not going to pay for her thing. But like, everybody's leaving. Someone needs to pay this bill. All of a sudden, we see people from the back of house, the cooks, coming out and trying to tell these teens like, hey, you need to stop being rowdy. You guys need to pay this bill. And she's over here in the back crying because she racked up this big bill from all these teens that decided that they didn't want to pay today. It's going to be comped. At the end of the day, you wasted so much time on these kids. First time seeing it. This is in Connecticut too. So when the Chili's shut down in Connecticut, which was around 2012, 2013, something like that, I ended up moving over to Fridays, which was right across the street in the Hampden Plaza. Still there. And this is before Fridays had their endless appetizers, which I think was the end of them being a good quality restaurant. I was working there and I worked up to being a cocktail server, which is basically you have all the tables in the bar and you actually make a lot more money than the servers that were in the regular dining area. When I tell you, I saw a distinct difference between the guests that I would see. I wouldn't even say rowdy white people. I would say entitled white people. I would say they knew what they wanted. But the thing about it realized that if you gave them what they wanted, they would tip you good. But then there would be the black ghetto route. We called them the D bus crew because there was a bus that would come by and it was the D bus that would bring people literally from the ghetto, but it would stop right in front of the restaurant. So you knew that when you saw an influx of certain types of people, they would come there and you knew exactly where they came from. This is where I learned a lot about black people working at Fridays. The amount of disrespect, the amount of, and I'm gonna say entitlement because it's not even like entitlement to where they expect a certain level of service and then they pay you for it because they appreciate it. A level of disrespect and entitlement that is like disgusting to experience. They would ask for extra things instead of telling you all the stuff that they need at once because you know that they know exactly what they want. They just want to run you ragged.
Let me go ahead and get your extra lemons with your water. Let me get your salt and pepper for the table. Let me make sure any burger or steak or any type of red meat that you have cooked is cooked well done, well done at that. Let me make sure it's all flats fried hard. Let me make sure to go ahead and get the chicken tenders with fries for the kids with honey mustard. When it comes to dessert, I know you ain't gonna have no room for dessert. You're not about to get my ass saying that you want it off the check because you couldn't eat it all. No, man, we gonna get that taken care of at the beginning. We gonna box that shit up to go and it's gonna be right in your to-go bag when you pack up the rest of your shit.
They were so cheap, in fact, that they wanted to create their own lemonade, which I never saw until I was there. People were actually ordering lemons, water, and sugar to make their own lemonade because they didn't want to pay the $3 for the lemonade. If this is not a level of cheapness, I just don't know what it is. The thing that really pissed me off a lot about the restaurants dealing with black people specifically, is the fact that they would eat their plate, eat the entire plate. I'm telling you, if the plate was edible, they would eat the plate too. Then when it came time for the bill, they would look at the bill, realize, oh shit, this is actually way more expensive than we actually are willing to pay, and then they would complain.
That was delicious.
Hey, yo, the waiter coming. So how was everyone's food tonight?
Yeah, I wasn't really satisfied with my food tonight.
But sir, you ate the whole thing.
See, yeah, I had to do that because I had to make sure it was nasty, you know?
Now, initially, my managers would fall for it. They would actually listen to the guests, believe them when they said, oh, the food wasn't good, even though the plate was empty, and they would comp that certain item. And after a while, I was like, if y'all keep on comping these items, I'm not going to work here anymore. Because motherfuckers ate the whole entire plate and then wanted to complain when the bill came because they can't afford it. And this is Chili's and Fridays. Like, it's not even that expensive of a meal. Remember, I got into this argument with this couple. They were complaining about how the food that they were getting was like a steak dish. And I remember because like my manager had to get involved. This is like around the time when Fridays started to go downhill. This is when they started adding in the endless appetizers. Now, we're not even going to discuss that. The amount of times that people would order a bunch of food, then wanted like a box so they can take it home, even though in the description it said no take-home boxes. You have to eat it all at the restaurant. I'm not even going to talk about that and the amount of issues I had with that. This particular couple got really mad because their drinks weren't strong enough and they wanted extra liquor without being charged for the extra liquor. They had ordered steak, and this was another example of someone eating the entire plate and then complaining. And I'm like, but you ate all the food, and you think you're getting free liquor because you said the drink is not strong enough. Like, what are we doing right now? Long story short, I didn't stay at Fridays long, especially with the endless appetizer thing. Like, that was an indicator that they did not want good servers working there. The idea that you guys can take your restaurant that you guys had, that I actually liked, and then add in buffet style sort of things, knowing the type of clientele that you would invite into that restaurant to take advantage of that is insane behavior. And they lost a lot of good servers because of it. And I can't say that I went back ever since, just as a customer, because I'm just like, I just don't respect you guys like that. Now let's go back to the comment. I think that there are so many videos on social media that talk about this kind of thing, where people are just so fed up with dealing with black people in restaurants, and it's insane.
Our own servers are afraid of us, y'all. They don't even want to come to the table no more.
Nobody wants to wait on black people at restaurants. I'm going to tell you that is the real tea, and I will tell you why. As somebody that was a black server all throughout college, number one, when you wait on black people, they are always on this extra stuff. Everything is so extra. They come in there with their noses turned up at you because they think that they're about to pay for a service, and they think that they're the Queen of Sheba or Beyonce, or I don't know who they think they are. But when they come in there, there's always an attitude. They want extra stuff. They want to run around. They want water with lemon. They want this. They want that. Oh, my silverware is dirty. Oh, this. Oh, and then they want to eat 85% of the meal, but then say, oh, this wasn't cooked right, and want to get a whole other meal, and then also to get the entire thing comped. They do so much extra stuff, and when you are black, it doesn't matter because they will treat you even worse because now they think that they are so familiar with them.
And I've worked in casual, like Chili's and Fridays. I worked at middle of the road. I worked at an Asian restaurant where actually the Asian owner was actually the worst. And the restaurant didn't even last long because she was like a micromanager. And I'm going to exclude foreigners because we all know, when you see a table full of Mexicans or a table full of people from the UK, people from the islands like Jamaica or Haiti, you know you're not getting a good tip. And if you don't know that as a person living in the world or someone that's new to the restaurant industry, take your time. You're going to figure it out. They are not good tippers. But you know that going into it. We're talking about black people. People that work in industries understand exactly, like people that get it. And the ones that don't, they weren't meant to get it. This wasn't for them. I totally get it when you say bill was like $500 and they walked out on it. And yes, servers do have to tip out. And so when you're taking care of a table, let's say from the example, and the bill is like $500 and they don't pay, let alone tip, you're suffering for that shit.
One night they gave me a big one, a 12 top, a black family. Took up my whole section and my whole shift. Then they said you gave great service at the end of the night. The bill, $400. The tip, $2. Y'all, $2. And I'll be real, that broke my heart.
Now I'm gonna go back to my comment when I said, when people were talking about how the tip culture is out of this world, like it's insane, and people are refusing to tip in restaurants.
2K I'm not tipping nobody. When you sit back and you think about tipping, it is so stupid because they are asking you as the customer to pay them more than they are requiring the boss. You should get a better job.
If you can't afford to tip at least 20%, and I'm saying at least, for whatever you order in a restaurant that you're having to sit down and someone's taking care of you, and this is the assumption, everything is going smoothly. You're not having to ask the server for anything. If you don't feel like it's a requirement for you to tip 20%, I don't think that you should be eating at restaurants, and you should be treated exactly the way you deserve. And whether you believe that you deserve that treatment or not is on you. I just don't feel like it's fair for the server who's working hard, take care of someone in the way they best can do it, or for someone to say, oh, you do not deserve this tip because I just don't feel like tipping you today. Bitch, go to the grocery store, buy your own ingredients, eat it at home. Go to a fast food joint. You can order stuff from a kiosk, or you can literally roll down your window and order at the window. Like, there's no reason for you to take up someone's time and space, or for you to feel so entitled that you can't tip someone who's giving you exceptional service.
I see a lot of people talking about how black people don't tip, and as a black server, I will say that unfortunately our people do come in and mistreat us majority of the time. And yes, it does apply to other races as well. I have other races that do not tip well once in a while, but I can say in my experience in a predominantly black restaurant with a lot of black servers, our people come in and they mistreat us. They run us around crazy. They want plastic this to go that. This is not right. This is a problem. And why is this, that, and the other? And being rude. Don't want you to talk to their man at all. So he can't even order for himself. Can't clarify nothing. They got to have the conversation right in front of your face, and then she has to relay the message. It's just a lot. And I feel like as a black person, it feels even worse to have your own people come into your job and do you dirty and low-key embarrass you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know the difference between someone who's working hard and shit's just not going right for them and a terrible server. And you have to be able to cipher the difference too. I had some friends that had gone to, I think it was Texas Roadhouse or Longhorn, one of those. It was a group of servers and they had the worst service. And they explained everything that had gone down. Like their food was not coming out correctly. The drinks were just watered down. Like the server rang the drinks in, forgot that they were at the bar. Ice melted into the drinks. They brought it to the table and the drinks were just tasting like water. The server disappeared for minutes at a time, couldn't find them at all, and they still left like a $25, like a 25% tip, close to 30. I was like, that's insane behavior. I think that's insane. I think it's insane because you cannot reward bad behavior. When you are dealing with a server who doesn't give a shit, you can tell. No 2-bite checkbacks, to make sure if my steak, if I ordered it medium rare, that it actually came out medium rare. You didn't do anything like that. You're not checking up on me and you still deserve a tip. Like at that point, 15% is definitely what you're going to get, simply because I did eventually get my food, even though it wasn't how I wanted it. I would never tip someone amazingly if I know that you did not give a shit. On the flip side, there are servers that are just really, really good at their job and they just are working with some terrible support staff. Maybe the cooks just don't give a shit. The bartender is having a bad day and you're trying your hardest to have everything come out perfectly. The bartender's taking his sweet ass time with drinks. The back of house workers just are not, no one's giving a shit except for you. And you can tell when a server is at their wit's end because they're trying their hardest to be the best while everybody else is not giving a shit. At that point, I'm definitely tipping the server, especially if you can tell me exactly what I wanted and you know how I wanted it and it comes out exactly the opposite and you come come back apologetically, I'm going to reward you because I know that you know exactly what I wanted, and this has nothing to do with you because I've experienced that. Some people just don't give a shit about their job, which is understandable. That's totally fine with me. But I'm not going to penalize somebody who cares while everybody else doesn't. Now, when it comes to black people tipping, it's one of those things where when I'm going to a restaurant, I make sure I could be 100% the evil person in this. But I'll go to a restaurant if I'm looking for a job, and if I see one too many black people going into that establishment, or the establishment is catering to black people, 100%, I'm not working there. Now, I'm sure they probably have some delicious food, don't get me wrong. Places that have a lot of black people going into it, you have to know the food is delicious. It's like going into a restaurant and seeing a bunch of old people. Because we all know old people, their taste buds are a little off. Like, they're probably not going to be having the most seasoned food. No, the food's going to be bland. It's probably going to be more on the mushy side. When you see black people, the food's probably going to be well-ass seasoned. Probably food you're probably going to have to eat once a month because it's probably going to give you diabetes and high blood pressure if you eat all the time, but you know it's going to be really good. Like, there's certain things I look at when it comes to restaurants. The same way I would never work in a restaurant that caters only to old people, I'm putting myself in a position where I know I'm going to be fucked at the end of the day, and I can only blame myself for it because I knew what to expect from experiences that I've gone through in my life. Ever put myself in a situation where I would be purposely upset all the time. I just think it's insane that some people don't fully understand their actions are what causes them to get the outcomes that they get in life. I don't know how many videos have to be made on TikTok for black people to wake up and understand. You don't have to tip. Just don't go to restaurants and do that bullshit. You can be as picky as you want, but be picky in the grocery store when you're buying your ingredients. Don't take that pickiness shit, out on servers that are just trying to do their damn job when they already know when dealing with you that they're not going to make any money. So you actually are a waste of time. When people are making their videos on social media about tipping culture and dealing with black people and black people that are on the end of being the customer and think that their insane behavior is okay because of who they are, they make themselves look really, really bad.
Be careful, this place is really hot. Thank you, honey. I'm not a child.
Stay the fuck home if you're gonna be nasty towards people.
The first lobsters I seen that was still alive. I picked out one called Benjamin. Is this Benjamin?
No, that's not Benjamin.
Okay.
Like, they really do. And it's just like, it's bothersome because it's like, you don't get it. Like, you don't understand why people are doing this to you. You think that it's because it's racism, but there's other black people that are being treated really well. So how do you excuse that? How do you explain that away?
I just came in here to get like a little bite to eat, and this manager comes over and tells me something about I can't be served because every time I come here, I'm having a problem with my stuff and I'm taking food back. When I basically order something and they bring me something else that I don't ask for, then what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit there and take it, or am I supposed to complain about the food that I did not ask for? So I'm waiting for this manager to come back over here. I want to go look for him, to be honest with you, because I want to put him on blast.
I don't get treated crazy in restaurants. People assume things when they first see me, but then at the end of the day, I do what I do, and then I get treated accordingly. Like, you have to assume everybody's fucking retarded too. That's the thing as well that I realized. In working in restaurants, in working in customer service, you have to assume everybody's retarded until they prove to you that they're not. Because you're going to be out here treating people amazingly, thinking that everybody is just right in the head. Then they say some dumb shit, and it's just like, wait, what are you talking about? Oh, I got you, fuck. I assumed. That was my bad. I had an assumption, and I was wrong. You're actually retarded. Okay, mentally, you have to prepare your mind for the nonsense that comes out of people's mouths in order for you to function in the world normally. Because if you just come out and just expect everybody to be normal, you're the only one that's going to be disappointed. And at the end of the day, you can only blame yourself. So, Frank, I understand what you're saying. There is never going to be a restaurant that I am going to be so loyal to that I am going to lose my mind over the clientele that go into that restaurant that I know are going to be a pain in my ass. I'm telling you right now, I've looked at restaurants, I've applied to restaurants, and I've seen way too many people walking in as customers that I'm like, I could never take care of these people on an everyday basis. And I've walked my black ass out. My sanity is way more important than the money that I make. So you can make all the money, but then you're always sick. What's more important, your health or the money? Health is wealth. That's all I gotta say. For those that understand what I'm talking about, definitely let me know in the comments below if you guys agree or know what I'm talking about. Like, have you experienced this as a server or even as a guest? Because this is definitely for the servers out there. People that dine at restaurants see things like this too. Like, you can see people and how they operate in restaurants as a person that's dining in restaurants, and you can be like, ooh, I'm so glad I'm not taking care of that person as a server. You could be minding your business, eating your food, and you can hear nonsense 2 tables down, and you're like, oh man, I know these people are gonna be terrible to take care of, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments below, because I'd be very intrigued to read what you guys think. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're always notified about the new videos that I have coming out. Getting Q&A time on my community post. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about, and I will talk about it on this channel. Start off doing long form videos. I always wanted to go back to it. You know, we all have experiences that we've gone through in life, and I think it's very interesting that people are intrigued to hear what I think about things. It's just really cool to be able to relate to people in this way. I call things out. I have no problem doing that. And with my experience in the restaurant industry, I've seen a lot of things. So I'm glad you guys stayed this long. Also, don't forget Patreon. I talk about life outside of social media as I travel the US, in my podcast, where I share with you guys in audio form things that I experience as I'm a traveling content creator roaming the earth. I love you all. Don't forget, I'm also on Instagram as well, because I enjoy, there we go, someone that can't fucking drive parking next to me. Fuck, oh my god. This is the kind of shit that I talk about on my podcast and my Patreon, so definitely tune in. He's a cool dude. I'm not even gonna knock it, but he can't park for shit. Anyway, with that being said, I love you all and hope to have you all come back for the next video.